Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to the RBG monthly podcast that I'm not going to stop for Josh for. This is number 10 coming at you. It's December 20th on the evening of this recording. My co-hosts, me Swan Jr., aka Michael Swan, and Josh Randomize Arcia, are in good spirits here tonight. Hopefully you all are as well. Wishing you a happy holidays and a happy new year from RBG Esports. Hope some of this joy that we're all sharing here tonight has found its way into the home of you and your family. But gentlemen, thank you for joining me for another monthly roundup. I'm sorry I'm not in person to mess with you all there.
Yeah. We're stuck in boxes again.
I know.
When are we not stuck in boxes?
Yeah, I mean, technically, my office is just a giant box, so.
Well, sometimes we just got to think outside the box once in a while. There's a potential there might be another live podcast coming up sometime soon. But,
open the door, so it's an open box now.
True.
All right. Well, anyway, folks, I want to get your opinions just for a moment. Maybe you guys can give like some brief flashbacks, some thoughts, some memories on 2019, because this will be our last roundup of the year as we head into 2020. What do you guys want to say looking back to our fans?
So when Dan said, talking about real quick, when Dan said, "Hey, should we do should I do like a year in review thing?" I'm like, man, yeah, we should. I don't remember him ever doing that video, but that's fine. Like, let's do a year review. I had no intention of doing it right now. I know that's what he meant. But probably my biggest thing from 2019 is our competitive growth. We've taken a lot of big leaps this year in a lot of games to be competitive at a high level, and it's not stopping at all.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that RBG has made a great push into a lot of scenes lately. Josh, what about you?
Too much, man. There's so much things that happen in 2019. I mean, making RLCS is probably like one of the biggest highlights. Getting top 8 in Halo was probably like a cool part. The fact that I could go like, yeah, I coach for a pro team now. Getting to meet so many people, just like the community we got to meet. At one point I actually got to do like autographs at RLCS when it was in New Jersey. There's just so many insane memories out there. But I think like Swan said, I think competitive wise, where we are both as like a business as like team wise, just I feel like people are definitely surprised how big we blew up, and we're still technically small. So if that's what happens in 2019, I can't wait for 2020.
Yeah, definitely. No, I got to feel some of that growth personally. DreamHack Atlanta, our last podcast, was my first like proper gaming LAN ever. So to be able to confidently like think about that memory as like I went there for the organization I work with. Like I went there for this entity. Like it made RBG feel fully whole and like tangible to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was so awesome, and to know that you guys have been doing that for so long, and that 2019 was full of LANs for us, and that we're already prepping for LANs in 2020. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's I gotta be honest, it feels weird. It's like the year is ending, but I feel like everything is just starting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I gotta be honest as well. I almost forgot that Christmas is coming up in just a few days, and that New Year's follows up like within a week. To me, right now, it still feels like November, to be honest, because like just how things sped up. We've all been so busy that thinking about the fact that, hey, by the way, a few holidays are coming up, and you got to go celebrate that. I'm just like, oh yeah,
we had a meeting.
Yeah, right.
Right. No, I definitely feel it. RBG has been at full tilt these last couple of months for sure. But glad to hear it, guys. We'll have a little bit more of a full year in review coming out soon. That'll be a piece I'm looking forward to working on. Probably get some input from some of the other staff and everything. But love to hear it, y'all. Well, let's get into the meat of things for the evening roster updates. Let's start with the big one from recently, Rocket League.
We always start with Rocket League. It's our, well, we won't say it's our favorite child, but it's our favorite child. And
it's our most well-known child.
To us, it's our premier roster. It's our bread and butter. It's what we're known for. There are no real updates right now, and we're not going to release who's taking tryouts because the turnaround is so short between season 8 to season 9. There's no point in doing like an extended tryout period like we did with Jacob and Seabass literally 8 months ago. And that extended tryout process led some confusion that we ultimately had to resolve with like Liquipedia. I was able to actually coordinate with Lucas and actually make sure like, oh yeah, no, Jacob was never officially on the roster. He was like a 2-month stand-in while he was on tryout. So we're not releasing any names as to who's taking tryouts, but we will have a final roster by roster lock on January 18th.
I'm actually trying out, so.
Oh, are you?
Watch out. It's gonna happen.
I'm
in a good mood, all right, man. Leave me alone.
I was thinking about that the other day because I pop into some of our content creator streams and everyone goes, oh, who's the new third? Who's the new third? Who's the new third? And I'm always like, how crazy would it be? How insane would it be if we signed some like Diamond 2 player to be the third?
It's me.
Like the ultimate troll.
Oh yeah.
Also me.
Troll. Also you. But no, I mean,
in all seriousness, yes.
When we have the third, because we only teams usually, I would say about 98% of the time, teams make moves to make the team better. I don't know why teams would make changes if they're not going to get better. So when we solidify the roster for season 9, everyone will know.
Well, there you go, folks. We'll have it to you as soon as we've got something locked down. But definitely a roster that we have thoroughly locked down and with an upcoming LAN is Hearthstone.
Yep. We got 4 out of 5 of our competitive players qualified for Masters Tour Arlington. So Dead Draw, Jombre, Villain, and Innovation. Innovation's finally getting to go to a Masters Tour. We'll be heading to Arlington.
He was very, very excited about that.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that he struggled all of 2019, and basically, Innovation had a phenomenal resume up until DreamHack Austin 2018 when we first met him. That's when we met him, had a conversation. We're like, dude, you're doing all these great stuff. Come play for RBG. And then we signed him. He had 2 top 32 finishes after the fact, and then just whiffing. It wasn't like bad prep. It's typically as it goes in card games. Things just don't go your way. And in Innovation's case, it was just consistently backs against the wall the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I check in with him. I check into the Hearthstone section, like the players section of the Discord often, and it'll be all the time. It's like got close to like top 8 finish and then had somebody just draw insanity on me.
So that was a big thing. That was a big thing back when the HCTs were a thing. The championship tour was a thing. Because like Innovation, Manny, and Run would go to an event, and Manny and Innovation would have like Manny would pop off against like a top tier player. Innovation would pop off against a top tier player, and then go face someone closer to like the bottom 100 at the event, and end up end up losing the series because of some kind of RNG thing that happened. This is the same stuff that happens to Villain. Like the RNG nature to card games is a thing. But we're excited to actually have Innovation at a Masters Tour. All 4 guys that are going, Dead Draw, Jombre, Villain, Innovation, all 4 of those guys are capable of landing in top 8. I spoke with Dead Draw the other day and basically said, dude, I'm taking first. I don't care. He was like just being big and bold about it, and I love it. With his top 4 finish at Bucharest, him like if he just stays on the trend, he's just gonna. maybe he's going to go for the record of longest streak of top 8s. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just hoping to see like the RBG clashing, like at the top.
Oh yeah, that'd be good too.
That's what I want to see.
If all 4 players make top 4, yikes.
Oh,
Ranked.
Anyway.
Oh my, but yeah, Masters Tour Arlington, the first stop of 2020, coming up very soon. That'll be towards the end of January. We'll have more updates as that approaches, but 4 folks on their way there. Going to be very, very exciting to see. And speaking of more tournaments coming up in 2020, I know we were chatting before we started rolling live on the cameras there that Apex has now finally released a competitive roadmap.
Respawn has finally released a competitive roadmap. It's the Apex Legends Global Series, and this is something that we've all been wanting for a while, is to kind of see like what is Respawn/EA going to do, because we all kind of knew that this game was going to lend itself to a vibrant esports ecosystem. All in all, I like the roadmap. The only thing I don't like is that we don't know if we're getting custom lobbies or not. If this whole thing is a kill race, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, that would be a bit unfortunate. Like I could see it maybe as like qualifiers for some of them or something, but the actual tournament itself, it shouldn't be.
Kill races in public lobbies are just so sketch. I'm not a big fan. If it takes the system of T1 where like you're trying to queue into lobbies with like-minded teams, I could kind of see it, but at the same time, the way the rules are structured for travel allotment and stuff like that, I just don't see it. I think if I was reading the rules correctly, there's going to be, for every like online qualifier weekend, there's going to be like 10 tournaments or 10 like mini tournaments. Tournaments 1 through 9, the top 5 of every tournament will get like travel paid for to the major. Mm-hmm. And then on that 10th tournament, it's just the top team. It's just the top team that, I think in that one you have to that may be the premier one. So like tournaments 1 through 9, you accumulate points, top 5 from each one go to the major, and then like maybe the top 20 teams from those online tournaments go that don't qualify playing the premier. I'd have to dive back in and read extensively, but like EA is doing what they can to like guarantee that we have top tier competition at majors, and that's good. I just hope that it's not soiled by it being a kill race. I've spoken with quite a few, not just our own players, but other free agent players. If we're looking to expand it, like bring on a second team, or talk to players that are with other orgs like Dignitas or Tempo Storm, players are not a fan of kill races. It's not good competitively.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's not a good system. So hopefully, Respawn knows this. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do, because they've been very, very active in the competitive subreddit.
Yeah, they're pretty good about responding to their feedback from the community.
So I don't see how this can't. I don't see how we don't get custom lobbies, but there's nothing in the rules that say matches will be played in custom lobbies, and there hasn't been an announcement.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair.
Okay.
No, honestly, the last LAN that they did in Poland, that was a custom lobby.
Well, it was.
Yeah, no, that was a custom lobby.
No, that
they have custom servers, but it's only like just for them. And like it was a LAN server. It was,
because we didn't qualify. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so actually the first LAN server tournament was actually at a Twitch Rivals tournament. And like that was when Dizzy first showed it. Like that was the Dizzy face reveal, was the LAN tournament at Twitch Rivals, and then NRG won. So I'm not worried about the LANs and the majors and all that being their own private lobbies. It will be. What I'm worried about is that the online portion to qualify will be the kill race. That's where it's like, do they have enough custom lobbies to be prepared for all these teams that are going to be playing? Like, I looked at how many countries are allowed to play in this, and it's a lot.
Well, it is a lot. They're bringing it down to like 9 regions.
Well, and maybe this is an opportunity for me to flex a little my my Fortnite knowledge, even though I'm still terrible at the game. but like the Winter Royale going on right now, and they're setting up for their whole nother season of competitive play. So I think Apex has definitely had a good opportunity to learn from that style of like what they did for the World Cup. And I think that's probably what we're going to see, head in that direction of, you're playing in on these qualifiers, and then it's basically all going to be the same layout all the way through. I see no
Yeah.
reason to qualify for a tournament and not get to continue to play in that format for the actual money.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So we'll have to wait and see for now, though.
Yeah.
But we're all excited to see that like there's something at least. Right?
Oh yeah, no, it's always good to see something. I don't try to think of a good analogy. I don't want to be like super hyped and then find out there's something terrible and then be sad.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit reserved, but it's weird for me to think that Apex has already been out. I just had to Google it. That February 4th of 2019 was the release of Apex Legends. It's already been out for
almost
almost
a
a
year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. So making good progress, and we look to see more of it in the future with these major tournament setups. But let's move on to our next shooter here, Halo, and the recent update to Halo Reach as the new competitive scene, and some of the things surrounding that. Josh, you've got comments, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, so Reach has been out for a little while now. They're actually, at the time we're recording this, there is the Halo Reach Throwdown tournament that's happening, and I'm really loving the idea of how they're doing it. They picked 2 pro players to be on a team together, and then they had to pick 2 streamers. And I believe, if I read the rules properly, because it's tweets all over the place, but I believe part of it was that at least one player on the team had to be a mouse and keyboard player. So it was kind of cool to see that. I mean, one of the cool things was that one of my favorite Halo players, Snipe Down, was playing with an old Halo player who got big into Fortnite, Frosty, and they have Choco Taco on their team. The man like had the game for about an hour, played with them for a little bit, and he's already now in a full-fledged tournament with Halo pros involved. They won their first round. I haven't been watching much of it now since we're in the middle of recording, but it's like really cool to see some big names involved in this tournament. I'm actually blown away that out of all people that are here, Dr. Disrespect is not in that tournament. He's been in love with it, but I believe it's because there's a Code Red Call of Duty tournament happening at the same time. So he's probably going to stick with the game that he knows better. But still, the fact that they're doing this really cool marketing tactic to get bigger names involved. I mean, Summit has been playing the wazoo out of this game. He's up in the ranks now where he's playing with pros all the time. He knows the call outs, which is really cool to see someone, who's been around the scene, just variety streaming wise, who just is really good at games, doing something like this. So it's really awesome to see how that's happening. Right now, we're kind of waiting to see what the format of the esports of Reach is going to be, who's going to be hosting it, if it's going to be HCS. HCS said they're looking to do some grassroots kind of thing with other community tournament organizers. So Gift for Gaming, I believe, has always been a very popular Halo 1. I have a feeling DreamHack is going to be probably doing stuff. I'm wondering if UGC is going to be doing stuff. So we're going to be keeping an eye out on pretty much all these tournament organizers, seeing who's doing what, when they're doing it, and how we're going to be able to get our players out there. I know they've just been practicing. They've already been scrimming teams, some good, some kind of rough. But they're kind of taking it easy right now for the holiday. They're just more playing the game to kind of get familiar with it. With this throwdown that's happening, my only concern is that there may be a rule that there must be a mouse and keyboard player on a team. I don't think it'll be a thing. But I'm still not sure if it's leaked to the pros and the pros know, or if it was tweeted. They said there was a tweet. A few of my players said there was a tweet. I'm not sure if it's out there. I'm not going to look up right now, but there is say that mouse and keyboard will be allowed in these tournaments, which I think is really cool. Like, it's all going to be PC. So I'm very interested to see how that's gonna work. I know a lot of people are out there going like, "Oh, aim assist OP." It's Halo. The game has been Xbox for a long time. Aim assist has been a thing, and it's not
Right.
even that great. All it does is slide your cursor left and right a tiny bit. I've played it for years. It doesn't make a difference. We're just better at aiming in the game. Sorry, mouse and keyboards, that your pride is getting hurt. That controller players are better in one of the games.
Oh my!
Wow,
Hot take.
Josh
Hot
is going
take.
in deep
It's-
on him tonight.
Hot take for randomized.
No, I am curious.
No, seriously though.
I am curious off the cuff from you two though, because I know you guys have both gotten to dive into Reach a little bit since its re-release, and I have not, unfortunately, just yet. But what have you guys played it on? Mouse and keyboard?
I play it on controller.
Controller.
Yep. Have you given
I
mouse
haven't
and keyboard a
even
shot at all?
I haven't even touched it.
Yeah, I actually have an alt account. And I'm playing mouse and keyboard on the alt account, and I am hating every second of it. I still play it, but I
was playing with Ronski and Jakester the other day, and Jakester was trying to play it on mouse and keyboard, and he was just like having a hard time.
Yeah, no, I mean he's doing better. Jakester, I was actually just playing with Jakester right before this recording. He's doing okay. It's just more of like he's learning the game. Ronskin is picking up the game pretty well, pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's very interested in just getting better in the game, kind of in general. So apparently, I'm gonna be doing a sit-down coaching session with Ronskian and Jakester, and like teaching them like the call-outs for the maps and how to move around the map, what to focus on, things like that. So if you guys want to be involved in that, I'd be more than happy to. And community-wise, if you want to play some Halo Reach with me, I'm always down to play. I mean, I'm level 20 right now. I'm now in that mix of players that got carried into the rank and players who are actually good. So it's a giant hit or miss of I'm gonna have a team that I have to carry, or I have a team that I could play with and not worry about. So if you play the game and you're around my rank, let's play some games.
Well, sounds good. Hopefully some folks from the community are willing to hit you up. I know we've had some fun recently with doing games within our community. Hopefully that'll be more of a staple of 2020. So look forward to that in the future, everyone. Our final roster for the evening, Counter-Strike Global Offensive just wrapped up their stead at Fragadelphia 14, was it? Yes?
Fragadelphia 14.
But it was 14, yes. And with a top 8 finish that Josh got to be there live and in person for.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in New Jersey, and this was in Philadelphia, so it was about a 2-hour drive for me. It was really cool. It was nice to meet the players, just seeing them meet for the first time. Like that's like one of my favorite things is watching a roster get to meet each other for the first time, because I remember that when I used to compete in Halo. Just being able to be in person with your team, sit down and talk, not voice comms, and using apparently they were even using webcams to kind of get used to looking at each other and
Nice.
talking when they were online. So the fact that they got to actually sit down and be in person with each other was really nice. I got to do some fun media stuff with them. I interviewed them. I have learned now that Pawnee is just as bad or maybe even worse than Rapid in interviews. The man laughed every other 5 seconds and clapped. It was kind of fun to do that interview. So when that video comes out, we'll probably have a blooper reel in the next one. But talking about the game wise, like they woke up, on Friday, started doing demoing, and they just started really focusing on it. They broke it out. Actually, there was 40 teams there. They broke it out into pools. So we didn't even we were called at 4 p.m. to play. We didn't even start playing till like 6. But it was a double elimination bracket. It was a best of 1 in the upper bracket, best of 3 in the lower bracket. So all they had to do was just win 2 best of 1s, and that's exactly what they did. And they moved in to the playoff bracket, which didn't really take off that many teams. There were still a lot of teams on Saturday. But so first day went well. Second day they started doing demoing at the beginning. But what made this so tough was that the players decided, instead of eating breakfast at the Airbnb we stayed at, they said, let's go there and we'll order food and have it brought there. So I said, all right, that's fine. We'll do that. We get to the event and we find out it's a little delayed. We go to order the food. It doesn't come through. And then we get called onto main stage. These poor guys played about 4 hours of Counter-Strike and weren't able to play. Or
Was this
they
the
weren't able
matchup
to
that went
eat. Yes.
forever?
So the matchup in map number 2, we won. We won the first game, and the second game was on Nuke. It was a quintuple overtime, about 52 rounds. The second game itself took 2.5 hours of just pure playing.
It was forever. I watched almost the entire thing. I think I couldn't watch the final overtime.
Yeah.
And the entire time had me on the edge of the seat. So knowing that they did all of that relatively exhausted headed into it, man.
Now, what made this even worse was that at this point they were shot when they lost. Like the third game, they were saying like, "Oh, the Morels are probably hurt. They're not doing well." Like we got dominated game 3. I think it was like 16 to like 6 or even less.
Yeah, it was a single digit loss.
Yeah, like they came off the stage and they came up to me and they're like, we weren't morally hurt from losing the overtime. We were tired and we're hungry.
Mm.
And then what made it worse is that they put the order in my phone and I was going to order it, the food. By the time I started to notice, all right, they're about to lose this overtime. Let me just order the food. The order vanished. Thank you for the app for resetting on me. And they still didn't get their food. Now at this point, it was probably around like 4:30 in the evening. And they had to go right into their next game in the losers bracket. And to even make this even worse was that first game that was like 4 hours long was only a round 2 match in the upper bracket. And because they lost and they didn't play in a round 1, they had to play in losers bracket round 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they still played it. They won. And then by that time the food showed up and the TOs were awesome. Fragadelphia TOs, thank you so much. They said, "We're running behind schedule, but we understand you guys have not eaten at all today. Eat. Don't shove it down so fast that you're going to get sick, but please eat quickly." And the players did. They ate quickly. They just scarfed everything down. Even I was scarfing everything down just so I can keep up with the media stuff. And then it was a pretty good lower bracket run. They got to losers bracket round 4, and at that point I think they were just tired. They even beat some of the teams that we lost to in ESEA League play. I think it was Gorilla Gang.
Mhm.
We lost to them during ESEA, and they were talking trash. The amount of BM that happens at this LAN was blowing my mind.
Have you ever been in a CSGO lobby? I'm not shocked whatsoever to find out that they're bad manners in person.
I don't really play the game that much. I've started to play it more since then because I've been more intrigued in it. But like Halo BM is a thing now that it's on PC and we can type. Oh, it's a whole nother nightmare. So like it's turning into like CSGO BM. Like I know Halo BM is one thing. Gears of War I've always thought was the worst because they allow cursing on the stream and players are literally doing the choking sign and you know they're screaming at each other on main stage. But wow, this was a whole nother level. People were screaming at the top of their heads. Hext had a headache after the first night. We only played 2 games and he had a blasting headache from people screaming. Mind you, they had the headphones on and they actually practiced doing the earbud thing. They didn't have to when we were on the side. It was on main stage where they had to put earbuds in, then the headphones. They practiced with that, so they got used to it. And he still heard it. Mm-hmm. So that's how.
I wonder why at the CSGO majors now they're considering putting in like soundproofing booths for the actual players.
I'm surprised they haven't done that already. Like they've done that for other games, but either who, you know, they almost choked against Gorilla Gang. I think we were up like 14-6, and then we won the game 16-14. Like that's like a whoa moment. And then lose bracket round 4. It was actually the last match of the night. Yeah, and it was all bracket. It was all best of ones. So if they won that, we would have made it to day 3. But I think they were just kind of shot at that point. They were tired. They were constantly playing. Like there was no breaks. And either way, it was just it was a fun time watching these guys play. I think they grew a lot from it. You know, their coach KJ couldn't be there in person, so G-Man really stepped it up as the IGL, and Welko helped out a lot. All five players just they played outstanding, just adjusting to that whole land style, and I couldn't be more proud of this team, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
that's their first land too.
that was well
as a team, as a unit, that's their first land together.
As a unit, that was their first land together, and as two players, Wiz and Pawnee have actually never been to a LAN. So for them to do that, and some of the pop offs that they had in LAN, and you know, it just so proud of them. I can't wait for Winners League playoffs when they should be playing in that. I'm not sure exactly when. I think it's in January.
Yeah, I don't know either.
They have the schedule somewhere. I can't wait for them to play in that playoff, and I cannot wait for ESEA. That's actually starting pretty soon too. I believe in February. MDL, here we come. That's all I can say.
Well, we certainly hope so. But yes, once more, congratulations to the entire CSGO squad there with that top 8 finish, like you said, at one of their first lands ever for some of them. So excellent job. RBG was very, very proud to do that. I know all of us, all the staff were hanging out in the Discord and chatting back and forth and on the edge of their seats. And like, I was running errands and stuff and like had the Twitch stream up in my car so I could still hear the audio of like that third game and everything. And it's a really hype time to see our boys up there really shining. But well, that will do it for our roster updates, folks. Any last thoughts on any of our teams? Anything that we missed before?
No, it's just been a phenomenal 2019. Can't wait to see what we do in 2020.
Yes, indeed. Well, a couple of quick announcements for us. We're pretty light on them in general, so I'll take the moment to give RBG a super early birthday. The organization will be turning 2 coming up in April, so 2020 going to be another big hallmark for us coming up in that year. As we kind of hinted at a little bit, though, before, community events still going to be going strong for RBG. Josh, I think you might want to tease some lands coming at us.
Yeah. So World Car, our event coordinator, and I have been speaking to a couple companies at this time. There's looking like we might be hosting some lands in New York, New Jersey, and potentially even Boston, Massachusetts. So if you're in the northeastern area, keep a lookout. We're going to be having and this is for multiple games, not just Rocket League. So if you're in the first-person shooter genre and Rocket League, keep an eye out. Plenty of events that we are looking to host right just in Q1. So it's going to be a busy starting off 2020.
I would expect nothing less from us as of late. And what about the folks at home who have grown a bit more attached to our bi-weekly gauntlet?
So as of now, it is officially done for 2019. We had an amazing turnout. I think we had 52 or 54 teams show up to our bi-weekly gauntlet. So thank you everyone who did show up. It was an amazing $150 prize. Congratulations to Sway Esports once again for winning that tournament. They played their minds out. Thank you, Playing with Rockets Ryan, for casting and donating to the prize pool. That was awesome of him to be doing that. He's looking to actually be joining us in some future casting as well. But as of now, we are looking to kind of take a small halt on the gauntlet in 2020, just to kind of see how things are moving in directions of our games that we want to start hosting events for in in other games and other fields. Dan and I are really working out a schedule to pretty much have both Q1 and Q2 of 2020 planned out and ready to go. So you'll pretty much know the event, the game, where it is, when it is, before it's even within that month. So at the moment, we're just going to take a second, take a breather on that, and then keep an eye out, follow our Twitter so that you know when we will be announcing when everything starts back up.
Oh, excellent. We very much look forward to it. And speaking of Twitter, we've got some community questions coming up. So if you are one of the folks at home watching this, and you know how you can enter one of your submissions for us to answer on our monthly podcast, feel free to hit us up at RBG_esports on Twitter. I believe it's the same handle there on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, RBG Esports, all of those good things. Or you can hop into our Discord and hit up the podcast question box. Leave a comment down below on this video. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know what questions you have that we can answer coming up in January. All those good things, but find us on one of our social platforms so that you can have a nice conversation with us. That's kind of the brainchild of what this is, after all, is a chance to talk one-on-one with our friends in the community. So we do have one of our questions coming in this evening from ICML2D, a close friend of the organization, asks, even though Season 8 just ended, and especially since there's such a short turnaround this season, like we talked about, coming up just in February, the roster lock even before that, any updates on who the new member of the RLCS team would be? And was there ever any consideration of making Forky the third and trying to find a new sub, or just trying to get a big pickup during the offseason?
We kind of
Good
already
sir.
answered that question.
Hit the rewind button.
Yeah, run it back.
Yeah, we touched it during our roster update for Rocket League, and we'll leave it at that.
Yes, indeed. Feel free to go give it a rewatch, and you can see our general update on that one. But another one coming in from Hazard, and they asked what I think was a very flattering question that we very much appreciated. What was RBG's big blow up to becoming a big org?
I mean, I'm glad he thinks we're big.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're definitely known. I don't think our numbers reflect that. There's a lot of people who talk about us, but may not follow all our social medias. But we're definitely big in Rocket League, but as an organization as a whole, I don't think the word is big. I do appreciate it, and it, like Dan said, it was very flattering of a question, but to kind of say it was just more of a lot of hard work. Got to be honest, some lucky breaks where things just kind of fell in our laps, and we did exactly what a lot of big entrepreneurs say, is that when there's an open door, don't sit there and question, just take the leap and then figure out what to do from there. And that's exactly what we've been doing. You know, we don't hesitate. We don't say a lot of what ifs. You know, those are usually, you know, it's turning into a small life lesson, but it's it's the reality of it. You know, when you sit there and you say what if, and you sit there and you contemplate longer than you're actually doing anything, you never get anything accomplished. So we put everybody in the positions we needed to. It was basically the most dominating chessboard we can create, and that's why we were able to continuously move forward and continuously make some big impacts at what RBG is today.
Certainly. And I think to quote Michael a little bit here, actually, he likes to close out our staff meetings by encouraging everyone to go and do whatever that may be. If you've got, you know, a brainchild, if you've got some idea or something that you want to start working on it, chase it down until either you realize, yeah, no, maybe that doesn't work, or it blows up and it becomes a staple of the organization.
Pretty much.
Yep. I love that. Go and do.
So we actually have one more question that was written down at the bottom, and the question is coming from that one Don guy saying, "Are you still traumatized by milk duds, Dan?"
Yes. You can see it in my eyes.
And this is the part where someone just starts throwing...
I still got a bone to pick with you.
Oh man!
Someone throw milk duds at him right now, just like at your screen.
Throw
Throw it at your
Reese's
screen.
at me. If there would have been more Reese's thrown at me, I would have been okay.
I don't have milk duds to throw at my camera.
I swear. I
Jake,
swear,
sir, edit
if
it
I
in.
show up to Arlington and you have a bag of milk duds, I'm throwing them at you.
Oh,
Oh.
Dan, you know what? It's gonna lead to like when we're getting a little older, you're gonna find a mate, you're gonna get married and everything. Everyone's gonna be throwing rice, and there's Swan and I with milk duds the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that now.
Okay, all right, we got it, Swan. We better start making a bucket right now.
I'm sure we can get like a big bag of them for like $65 on Amazon.
Ooh.
Oh,
Hell.
dude, how upset would you be if I shipped you like 100 pounds of milk duds?
Merry Christmas.
Amazon, Amazon.com.
Oh my.
man.
Well, on that very jovial note, we will wrap up this month's monthly roundup. This has been the December edition covering all things since DreamHack. It landed there in the middle of November, episode 10 of the series, and the final one for 2019. It's weird to stop and think back that I've been a part of RBG Esports for a year, that you guys have been RBG Esports for 20 months now. No, I just want to say congratulations to you all. Wish everyone a happy holidays and have a good start to 2020 coming up in just a couple of weeks. But any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, Swan, how did you deal with me for 2 years? That's my question.
Lots of hard sighing.
He hired me to do it instead.
Oh man. Yeah, well, I have to deal with Swan always disappearing on me, so it's always fun. I can't wait. You're so hard to track down, man, but I cannot wait until RBG blows up and we can finally get our own headquarters, because I probably will still never find Swan.
We'll find new and innovative ways to hide.
I'll probably always be in my office, asleep in my chair.
Been known to happen.
Pretty much.
Well, anyway, gentlemen, thank you for joining me here once again this evening. And we will catch you all in 2020, coming back at you in January. Have a good rest of your day, folks.
Nice.